when he had the tough month. I think it was August. Like, he bounces back in September and wins Pitcher of the Month. So he's very capable. He's, like I said, one of the greatest in the game. He's been that for a while. It's just fun to play behind him.
We'll go to Rich Jordan on your left.
Jordan, you got limited at bats in September. Do you feel that you're physically where you need to be and that everything is just fine for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. I don't think that I'm like 100%, right? Kind of didn't have the build-up that a normal injury would, but I'm good enough. I'm excited to be back. I'm ready to be back. You know, adrenaline does a lot of wonders for the body, and I'm sure it's going to kick in even more in this series. So I'm happy to be back. I'm excited to be back. I'm going to play as hard as I can, knowing that, you know, there might not be a tomorrow, and my hand can put up with that. You know, so I'm just going to take one day at a time, and not really, you know, it's not something I think about on the field. So it's not going to affect my performance, I don't think.
We'll stay here with Jake Jordan.
Jordan, just how much more prepared do you guys feel for the postseason this year as opposed to last year when none of you guys had been on this stage before?
Yeah, I think it helps that a lot of us were part of that team last year, definitely. It's a different situation, though. Last year we had 4 days to prepare for the Rangers coming to town. This year it's, you know, 1 day off and hop right into it. So preparation standpoint, it's just a little bit different. Personnel, I think it helps having that experience. I think it helps having some older guys too, some veteran guys who have been on postseason teams that weren't here last year, that have been on World Series teams, that have won in the postseason. So I don't know that I can speak to like exactly how prepared everybody is. You know, we know our opponent, we know how good they are. I think we're all ready to play postseason baseball. A few of us have some experience on this team last year, and other guys are going to bring their experience from other clubs into this clubhouse, and we're just going to take one day at a time.
Third row, Chelsea Jordan.
Hey, Jordan. I know you were obviously pretty familiar with Santander, you know, coming up in the system and stuff, but I'm curious what you learned about him, like kind of being in close proximity now for a full season, and especially a season that's been so good for him.
I was lucky enough to have my locker right next to his in spring training, and being around him a little bit last year, I didn't grow super close to him. As a rookie, like I wanted to keep my space and not get in anybody's way, you know. So the spring training was a little bit different, though, just being that close to him. I got to pick his brain a little bit about what his process is like hitting, why he thinks he has the success that he does, and it was really interesting. You know, he's a very cerebral hitter. He thinks a lot, does a lot of research, watches a lot of video, doesn't get as much credit as I think he should at times with how well he prepares. I think there's no surprise why he's so successful. Like, I'll just leave it at that. I mean, he left some crumbs for me to kind of follow. I think it really helped me this year. He talked a lot about mindset, a lot about preparation. I think for the young guys that are in this club, like if they are comfortable enough to approach him, like he's a guy who has some real knowledge to impart on those young guys. He definitely did for me.
We'll stay there in the third row.
Jordan, since the postseason last year, obviously you were an all-star. Even when you were out, guys were talking about how much you were missed on the team and in the lineup and on the field. Does it feel different coming into the postseason this year, just knowing how integral your presence is to this team and that your performance is really counted on?
No, I don't think it feels different. I try not to focus on myself. I focus more on the team. And, yeah, we didn't play great baseball when I was out. I think there's a lot of factors, and I don't think it was just me. I mean, we were banged up as a whole. And baseball is a tough sport, and you're going to go through ups and downs, and I think that was just a down for the whole clubhouse. When I'm back on the field, my focus is how can I help the team win today? And sometimes I don't do a good job of helping the team, and sometimes I do, you know, and so that's just part of being a baseball player, I think. I'm happy to be back. I think and trust that guys are happy to have me back. I'd like to think that I'm a part of this clubhouse, like a key part, but that's not for me to decide, essentially. So that's the best I can answer that one right there.
Go to the fourth row in the right center aisle.
Jordan, obviously you guys dealt with a lot of injuries in the second half. Turned out to be a lot of sporadic play on the field. Brandon Hyde said he thought you guys finished the season well on that road trip. What do you feel like the team's confidence is going into the series?
I thought we built some momentum. I thought the last two series, taking two from New York in New York and then sweeping in Minnesota was a huge momentum builder for us, or huge way to build momentum for us. We played some really good baseball. We played in some tough games there in New York. Kind of took care of business in Minnesota. I think guys in the clubhouse are starting to feel that energy come back. I know Elias has talked about that mojo that we kind of lost. I think there was a feeling that it was back in that clubhouse. So I think we're all excited. We're ready. We want to compete at this stage. We want to play postseason baseball for a long time. So we're just going to go out there, try to put a good product on the field, win today's game, and then worry about tomorrow when that time comes.
About 5 rows back on your left, Gabe.
Hey, Jordan. I'm sure you guys would have preferred winning 101 games again, but at the same time, was there any upside in kind of going through it during this regular season, and does that in any way kind of alleviate any of the pressure going into the postseason?
Sure, I think there's always upsides to any scuffle, right? It's important when you're struggling to remember who you are as a club, what you're built on, kind of that core culture, cultural beliefs inside a clubhouse. I think we kind of had to draw back on that, and we had a lot of tough injuries. We had a lot of guys go down. We had a lot of bad things happen, and I think when everybody started to come back and we started to feel a little bit more energy in the clubhouse, it's easier to draw on some of those past kind of like mantras, I guess, that we had in the first half. But I think you see in the entire MLB, like, this is probably one of the more competitive years we've had. I don't think there was a 100-win team. A lot of divisions were really tight. I mean, you saw yesterday's games. There's 3 teams waiting, to decide who goes in 2 games on an off day. I don't think that happens a lot. Yeah, I think struggling is good for anybody. I think it breeds like a toughness, a mental toughness. You can kind of, when you get out on the other side like we did, I think you have a new perspective, maybe a new hunger. And then I also think that just as part of kind of the MLB this year it was a lot of competitive baseball. Nobody really ran away with anything, so there was going to be more losses and less wins on the board.
Up front on your left, Andy.
Jordan, when your teammates often say when they describe you, steady, consistent, attributes of that nature. Where did you kind of learn that? I mean, how maybe who taught you to be like those are the attributes that maybe define who Jordan Westberg is?
It was definitely a lot of trial and error. I think growing up, my dad was a huge role model and figure of hard work for me. So I've always wanted to be that. That's just who he was, blue-collar, gritty guy. I wanted to be like my dad. So that's where I get I think my work ethic from. But the more like even-keeled or like steady guy, like a lot of trial and error. I wore my emotions on my sleeve a lot when I was a younger player, especially in college, would ride the ups and ride the downs, and realized that didn't work out for me. I think COVID year, like having that shortened season and helped me, honestly, I was like in the middle of a slump when the season kind of got cut. Probably helped that teams didn't see the full thing of that slump because I got drafted later that year, but it gave me some time to reflect and decide who I wanted to be as a professional baseball player, who I looked up to, like the Derek Jeter, Michael Young, third baseman for the Rangers, like how do they carry themselves? So I kind of had to learn how to be more steady, I guess is how I can put that.
The second row on your right, Jordan.
Jordan, Hyde said that the Rangers last year kind of got angry and then went on a run. And O'Hearn told us the other day that you guys were sort of hit by a truck a little bit in the postseason. Do you think that you guys are capable of doing that this year to other teams, of getting angry and going on a run, or being that truck that other teams sort of get run by over in the postseason?
Sure, I think we're capable. I think we have a talented club, and like I said, there's like a renewed energy in the clubhouse with everybody coming back and the winning baseball that we had in these last 2 series. I think momentum is a real thing in baseball. I think you saw that with the Rangers. They just carried momentum. I don't think it mattered who you put in front of them. They're just going to steamroll them. That's what it felt like in our series, at least. It didn't matter who we had on the mound or how many runs we were going to score. They were going to beat us that day. So I think with the energy we have, the momentum that we have, it could be a real factor. We'll see. And I think what the clubhouse is thinking right now is, let's just focus on today. Let's win today, and then when tomorrow comes and the sun comes up, we'll win today again. So, yeah, I think we're capable of it. We'll see what happens. We're going to focus on today, though.
The first row on your right.
Jordan, while you were out, you were around the team a lot more, maybe more often than a player who was out multiple months. Why was that so important to you to be on the road with the guys, be around the team so much, and what did you learn about the team over that time?
It was important for me when I first went on the IL because, I wasn't doing a whole lot, and so if I would have gone away from the team, like say down to Sarasota, would have been kind of lost. Like, you don't feel like a part of the team. You're not doing a whole lot physically, so I'd probably be bored out of my mind. So it was good for me to be around the team and just feel like I was still a part of it. Later on, as activities started to progress and I was getting a little bit more healthy, again, it's good to feel like a part of the team, but I was also able to like take a step back and watch guys, because I'm trying to stay out of the way, right, of everybody's routine. And I'm the injured guy. See how guys are working, see what they're working through, see what they're feeling, what they're thinking. Like, when you're focused on getting ready to play that day, you don't always get that experience. So I get to see kind of what guys were going through. And I think that lent like a whole new perspective for me, right? Like about, I would say I've always been team oriented, but being even more so team oriented. Like, I know I've talked about, like, I tried to come out of my shell a little bit and be more of like a talkative guy in the clubhouse, or like bring a little bit more energy in the dugout, like to help guys out. Maybe that's what they need that day. Maybe it's not, but I wanted to try and be some sort of a difference where I could be. So that was important for me. That's kind of what I learned, and I just learned how resilient the team was. Like, you got to witness firsthand like the struggles that we went through, and I had to sit back and couldn't do anything about it, which sucked. But you started to see like things turn, right, and started to see guys like really grind through some games and pull out some W's. And yeah, I know the win-loss column might not have reflected it, but there was a lot of gritty baseball being played. Guys really, really trying. So that was cool to see. Certainly glad I'm back and off the IL because that was miserable, but it did help me like kind of find a new perspective.
Take a last question from Steve on your left, Jordan.
Jordan, yesterday Brandon said he kind of hoped the team remembered the disappointment of last October. Now, I know most of this year it's been about moving past that, but does some of that come back now, and can it help you guys?
Sure, I think it can build off of the earlier question about can we play angry? Can we? I think a lot of us, as much as you want to forget, remember that series last year. I mean, I certainly remember being the last out of it, so I don't want to do that again. So I'm gonna carry that kind of as a little bit of fire in me, a little sense of urgency maybe. I hope a lot of guys do that. I think this team has a lot of tough guys, has a lot of gritty guys, has a lot of guys who play with maybe a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, even if it's unnecessary. I think it's good. I think it's good to play with passion and fire. And so hopefully we remember that. Hopefully we can kind of draw back on what that feels like and try to avoid that as best as we can. Some things are out of our control. A lot of things in baseball are out of our control. But I think if we just focus on winning today, remembering kind of like what it feels like to lose at this stage, that could be a powerful thing, sure.
Jordan, thanks so much. Great to have you in another postseason.
Yeah, thank you.
Ryan O'Hearn should be down in a minute.
Jordan Westberg, so give me sense with countless afternoons.
What's up, Ryan? How you doing? Yeah, all right, Ryan, thanks for coming in. Congrats on reaching the postseason. Who's got the first question? I will start with Rock up front, Ryan.
Right. As much as I know you guys, want to repeat as division champs, do you see any advantage at all, maybe, or you guys are telling yourself this, to not have that 4-day break or whatever, and just have the one workout day and then jump right back in it?
Yeah, I think 4 days off is kind of a long time, especially after you play pretty much every day. So, to be able to, we had one day yesterday, came in, got a little bit of work, and I think everybody's feeling sharp and ready to go. And we'll take that as an advantage.
We'll stay there with Rich.
Ryan, how important do you think that last week, going 5-1, was to the club?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was definitely important. Just to have that momentum going into the postseason, and I think guys are swinging the bat well, and if we can get as many guys in the lineup hot as possible going into the postseason, I think that's huge for us.
First row on your right, Ryan.
Ryan, what emotions, if any, are there for you going against your former team here in the first round?
Yeah, there's no. Obviously, you want to win every playoff game and every game you play. There's really revenge in my mind. Even if there was, I wouldn't tell you guys. But no, I mean, they're a great team, and I've had a really good season, and I got a lot of respect for people over there, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. But at the same time, we want to win. Obviously, we want to win a World Series, and it's been a long year, ups and downs, and I think this team is primed and ready to make a playoff run. We're not happy to be here. We are, but we're not. We want to do more. And after last year, I think it's a good reminder of how quickly this can be over. So guys are definitely motivated, ready to get after it.
Go to the third row on your right.
Hey, Ryan. Kansas City is obviously starting a Cy Young contender today and a Cy Young contender tomorrow. I mean, what specific difficulties do you think those guys pose? And, I mean, does it help you guys at all that you did hit Lugo well when you faced him back in April?
Yeah, but we haven't played the Royals in so long. I think every team looks a little bit different at the end of the season than maybe they did in April. But, yeah, they have great pitching. We have good pitching. we have great pitching too. Sorry. And, I think this time of year, it doesn't matter who you play. You're going to be facing good pitching and good teams and good lineups. And so, we're not expecting it to be, we're expecting it to be a challenge with both those guys. And, it's the playoffs. It's every team's good, every pitcher's good, and you got to find a way to scratch runs.
And same row on the aisle.
Ryan, you mentioned last year and how quickly, it can all end. I know you guys just finished a long season, but how long does last year's playoff run stay on your mind, or is it still fresh for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's fresh. I would say I'm aware of it, and guys in the clubhouse are definitely aware of it. It just seemed so abrupt, and I think for me it's motivation. Like, I don't want to experience that again. We have such a good group of guys in there. A lot of ups and downs, especially in the second half, and we want to keep playing. We want to do something special together. So I wouldn't say it's fresh, but there's definitely probably guys are aware of it in the back of their heads, and so we're not just happy to be in the wild card. We want to keep going. We want to win.
First row on your left, Jake.
Ryan, how much did you enjoy being teammates with Corbin Burns this year, and just how much confidence is there that you guys are going to win every time he takes the mound?
Yeah, I've absolutely enjoyed being around Burnsy. Guy's an unbelievable competitor, and obviously you watch him pitch, and there's a reason why he's an ace and a bona fide guy in this league. And every time he's on the mound, I definitely have confidence that we're going to get a win.
Go to Peter in the second row.
Hey, Ryan, you've been very honest about your own struggles the last couple months. But was there ever a time during that period with the team struggling that you ever had a doubt that you and the team would be here right now?
No, not at all. I think, we kind of understood that it's a long season and you go through ups and downs, and probably more downs than we wanted in the second half. But that's how it goes. I think you can't really dwell on the negative things. When you play so many games, it's like you have to, look forward to the next day, because it's like the reality is any day you can snap out of the funk. And I think even at maybe our lowest point when we lost a few games in a row and guys were getting hurt and all that was going on, that I don't think we ever lost faith that we were going to make the playoffs. I just think we have too many talented guys and too much depth and guys that really want to compete and win together in that clubhouse for us to not make the playoffs. So, definitely some tough stretches, but I don't think our confidence ever really wavered down the stretch as far as making the playoffs.
Third row on your left.
Hey, Ryan. Just a question about Jordan Westberg. You've seen him since his debut, and obviously he's taken a huge step forward this year, being an all-star. What have you kind of seen about his leadership role in this clubhouse changing since that last year and a half, and what ways has he grown sort of personality-wise to help this team?
Yeah, he's rock solid. In the clubhouse, on the field, doesn't matter. He's always kind of had like that quiet confidence demeanor to him, and a guy that he's opened up a little bit. He's become a little bit more of a vocal leader this year, I would say, but he still kind of just goes about his business and is a leader by his actions. And he shows up every day. Doesn't matter. We play a lot of games, and it seems like he's the same guy every day. So, getting Westy back was a massive boost for us. And can't say enough about Jordan Westburg.
First row on your left, Ryan, Andy.
Obviously, Brandon Hyde has been through losing seasons before. So when the second half hit, and then there was a little bit more losing than previously last year and earlier in the year. I mean, how did he show himself as a leader to be able to kind of guide a club through, like, yeah, this is not what we expected, but maybe didn't panic?
Yeah, for sure. He's very steady. We had a few meetings every now and then that was like, hey guys, just we're not cutting it as a group, and we're better than the way that we're playing right now. And I think he said all the right things. He's came in and talked to us and had words of wisdom whenever things seemed bleak in the clubhouse and we were going through a losing stretch. So Hyder's a great leader and great manager, and everybody in that clubhouse wants to go out and play hard for him.
Go to the second row on your right.
Ryan, is there anything in particular that Hyde said in those meetings that kind of sparked more energy or helped you guys turn it around?
I don't know if there's like one specific thing. I think it was more of like a hey, like let's be honest with ourselves with how we're playing and where we're at. It had become more than just like a bad weak stretch or something. It was kind of felt like it was growing into something more, and that's when he kind of stepped in and was like, hey, we need to do some self-evaluating, and I don't think at this level yelling at a group of guys is really going to do anything, but just the way he kind of said, like, let's be honest with ourselves and let's talk about what's going on and how we can fix this. Was huge, man. And he had great timing with it. And it seemed to, it's not like that happened and then we rattled off 10 in a row, but definitely the morale and the attitude in the clubhouse, I think shifted and, in the long term eventually ended up benefiting us down the stretch.
Anything else for Ryan? All right, Ryan, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Good luck today.
Thanks, guys.
Brandon Hyde will be down in a few minutes.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
That part's true. I don't know if that. I say no. As long as the same group is running the Hall of Fame. As long as James Forbes Clark is running the Hall of Fame. I said as long as James Forbes Clark is running the Hall of Fame, it's not going to change.
You know, when I was in the sports show, it's a long 4-hour show, and I need calls.
Yes, he can.
I don't know why, even in Baltimore, you have these things you do for calls, and the biggest thing is for calls was I said, I really think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. And the calls just go nuts. Baltimore, I don't care. But it was amazing. They used like 3 or 4 times the first every freaking time. It's like that old Saturday Night routine where they're trying to get calls. Yeah.
Talk you out of it. What are the odds on that?
Go Chelsea.
Like exceptional. Every, I feel like everyone's these guys just need like a life Marty process. Your life is being dictated by other people and they're just telling you what to do all the time and all you need to do is follow that. It just makes your life so easy. Because it's like, oh, I have to do this specific workout on this day and this on this day. I don't have to think. It's like for an event, it's like, here's your life out. I think I have to do it. So I think that's what's helpful.
Yeah, who's pitching tomorrow? Just didn't care.
Because now it's like, I guess I'll run 3 miles and then I'll like touch my toes and then I'll move to my room. You know?
Hey, Pat, how are you? No, I'm good. Hyde is coming in a few minutes. Yeah, we're in the interview room.
I'll tell you. Tell me.
Yeah. Yep.
said, well, it's a day, it wasn't me. People are saying that immediately. Single words.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I've definitely looked it up for UKL and whatnot before, so yeah. What'd you say? We broke up. I do too. I do too.
February to the end of October. He can't.
Yep. And I think when the JJ Coopers of the world tell people that we're in the right spot, you know, it's good to see that there are people who understand it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Are you okay if we send our stuff along? Yeah, it's happy stuff. Yeah. So I had Eric Fisher reach out, Lori Brown usually reaches out, he may do so later, but it's all good stuff. So. Sure, yeah, I can wait. Oh, and the phone-based stuff is really great.
There's no
More than a century, and I feel like nobody's talking about it. I said it to him, and he has it up near the top now. So, yeah. But it's funny, I feel like it's kind of slid over the radar a little bit. So. Yeah, I sent it to Morgan and his crew, and even they made it up. So, yeah. It was awesome. I would, whenever you hear from people who don't contact you about basketball, it's great. I feel like we could not have had a better launching pad for the postseason.
I think two teams.
Yeah, I felt bad for Lavella, but you hit the nail on the head.
It's hard to avoid.
Well, I'll see you in a little bit. Holler if you need anything. He seems like such a good guy. Totally so damn good. We'll holler if you need anything. I am, yes. Yeah, it's rainy. You might start to like live, but they don't think it's a job. Yeah, Chuck's got a raincoat. Chuck's probably got multiple raincoats. It's Chucktober bad. Elmer Fudd hat too, yeah. I'll see you in a bit. What's up, Brandon? How you doing? Good to see you. All right, we will get started with Brandon, who has the first question. We'll start with Rock right up here in the middle.
Brandon, what were the deciding factors in having Colin Selby in the bullpen rather than Matt Bohm or somebody else?
We just felt Selby, in the couple games he's thrown for us, shown really, really good stuff. And just from a matchup standpoint, wanted that extra right-hander in the bullpen. And he's got 97-mile fastball with a really good slider. So we're excited to add him.
We'll stay here with Rich.
Brandon, where are you now on the game two starter?
I'm nowhere. Yeah. Post game.
Go to the third row on your right, Brandon.
Brandon, admittedly, the team was pressing over parts of the season, trying to get hits. What do you do to keep them loose, I guess, for the biggest game of the year, for the biggest series of the year?
Thought we, coming off the road trip at the end of the season, I thought our guys came in here yesterday. Unfortunately, we couldn't work out, but everybody seemed like they were in a great state of mind. We met as a team briefly. I think guys seem really relaxed and confident right now, and I don't sense anything different this morning. I think guys are kind of going through their normal routine. It's, yes, it's a big game, it's a big day, and there's a lot of excitement, but just walking around a little bit and visiting with guys in the weight room, et cetera, I think guys seem like it's a normal day.
We have a couple questions in the second row on your right.
Hey, Brandon. Selby has only thrown about 7 big league innings this year. He's only been with this team a little bit in the second half. Is there any concern about putting a guy on a playoff roster where he can be pitching in huge postseason moments when he hasn't been in the big leagues a ton this year?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, everything we factored everything in. So that's we love his stuff. How he's going to react to potential high pressure moment, we're not sure. But leaving the guy and like his stuff.
I know Albert Suarez had 70 or so pitches on Sunday, but is he in consideration if you guys do advance to be put back on the postseason roster?
Everybody is, yeah. Everybody that wasn't put on is definitely in consideration for next round.
We'll go to the fourth row on the aisle.
Brandon, with Jackson Holiday, who, was put through a lot of different spots this year, having to play out of necessity a lot of times, what do you think that experience that he got this season helps him if he does get in this round?
I think thought it was a great development year, honestly. Yes, he had some ups and downs. I thought he finished the season really well. He did some minor swing adjustment things these past couple of weeks of the season that I think is really going to help him and spring forward in next year. But just the experience of one, he's played in some high intensity games here, especially at home, played in tough environments at 20 years old, is on the roster. He's going to be a bench piece for us, and just to have this experience alone is only going to benefit him, and we're excited to have him. He's obviously got a ton of tools. He's really fast, so I'm able to use him if he's not starting him off the bench in a pinch run role. Also can defend in 2 spots, and he's got some big hits for us off the bench also. So he's only 20, and it's been really impressive, honestly, how he's handled everything.
First row on your left, Andy.
Brandon, with how well Cade Povich pitched in the last month of the season, I mean, how much confidence do you have in him in a variety of roles? What he might be able to do for you guys out of the pen, or maybe even as a starter sometime?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're lining up game 2 and game 3 kind of as we go. But Cade finished the season really well, threw the ball great. Another great development story for us, for the guy that doesn't have, a ton of upper level experience to go into the big leagues this year and have his ups and downs, but learn from him. Finished the season extremely strong, threw great in Minnesota, up to 96 with good secondary stuff. So whether he's going to start one of these games or be in relief, it's a guy that can give us multiple innings out of the bullpen.
Fourth row on your right, Brandon.
Brandon, there was so much build-up to the start of the playoffs for you guys last year, not just here, but I mean across the whole city. Do you like the fact that this maybe feels a little bit more like a normal series? I mean, you played 2 days ago. It's 3 games at home. I mean, is that good in a way?
It's a little different, yeah. I mean, that was it felt like a week, which almost was, of just kind of waiting and anticipation, and it was an amazing week because there was so many positive things said about our team, and you'd go anywhere you'd go, the fans were incredible to us and couldn't wait to watch us play. And our guys we're doing a Sports Center live through one of our workouts, like all sorts of things. That was great for our guys to experience. And unfortunately, we didn't get it done in the first round. This is a little bit different, but it's still going to be, for me, the same intensity when the game starts. It's the same feel pregame right now, and I know our guys are really looking forward to getting out there.
Other questions? Far on your left here.
Players often talk about how sometimes in October, when the stakes are high, there's a lot of adrenaline, they need to slow the game down. For you as a manager, is there a similar experience that you need to kind of control the emotion of the moment?
Absolutely. You definitely remind yourself to breathe. Try to be as clear-headed as you possibly can when bullets are flying and things are moving fast. And there's different type of scenarios, situations. You want to believe you trust your preparation and how much work you put in and the experiences that you've had, and then you trust the people around you when you have 3 seconds to make a decision. But it is about staying relaxed and calm in the moment, just like a player needs to, and it's really enjoyable.
Anything else for Brandon? Are we good? All right, Brandon, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Seth Lugo of the Royals should be down in approximately